All right, I'm here with Roman. Roman is a survivor. He has a mega esophagus, and dogs with mega esophagus, you can't let them have treats that are low on the ground. He's also extraordinarily fearful. The Guardians got him when he was about 6 weeks. In this video, I'm going to go over a focus exercise. This is an exercise that I use a lot to redirect dogs' attention away from things. In Roman's capacity, I'm going to do it a little bit for a different reason. I'm going to do it because he has what we call eye contact dominance. When we first arrived here, if I gave him too extended direct eye contact, he barked, and he said, I don't like that. Now, for humans, we're taught to look someone in the eye and shake their hand and sit upright and all that fun stuff. For dogs, they don't normally look in the eye. Looking in the eye is a challenge. Now, when the dog loves you and respects you and all the rest of it, then looking in the eye is like a kiss. But until then, it's like a challenge. So I'm going to try to do this with Roman. We might switch up dogs depending on if Roman wants to participate or not. Now, we're doing this. Usually when I do this, I have about 12 treats. This is probably a little bit more, but these are freeze-dried beef liver because they're freeze-dried. So for a dog like Roman, I think they're more beneficial, but I'm not at that. I could be wrong. So the idea is what I want to do is I want him to look at my face, but I want him to do it on his own. And I want to reward him for doing it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold one treat here, and I'm going to actually probably have my legs up here. And I'm going to hold my hands like this. Now, you're going to see Roman, if this goes the way I want, he's going to probably lick at my hands and paw at my nudge at my hands. He wants the treats. Now, he's a fearful dog. I've been here almost 2.5 hours. I have not tried to pet him once. If you have a fearful dog, one of the best things you do is try not to pet them. Don't interact with them. Don't look at them. Just ignore them. Wait for them to come on you on their own. Let them sniff you and let them walk away. The more that happens, the more the dog starts to feel, I'm empowered. I can do it on my own. Roman. Here, Roman. Go get that treat, buddy. You can give him a little nudge. He's on the couch. We're not going to, that's all right, don't here. There we go.
No, just still focus on you,
Keep it
okay.
on me. All right, Roman. Now what I'm going to do is hold my hands here, and I'm waiting for Roman to look me in the eyes. Focus. And then I reload. Now this is going to be a little bit easier for you guys than it is for me. Here, Roman. Focus. Now the way I normally do this, and we'll try to do a couple more with Roman, but we might let the other dog come here. Now I'm front facing him, which is also difficult for a lot of dogs. If I was like this, let's see if we'll do it. Roman. Now he's hot and tired, which is probably why he's not going to want to do this, but I'm sure he'll do this for you guys, and we'll have you guys practice with him. Let's go ahead and let her down. So what I do is I want to have the dog here, and I put my hands on my knees, and I'm just watching her eyes. The only thing she can do to get this treat is look up in my eyes. But she doesn't know that yet, so I'm just waiting. She's going to accidentally do it, and when she does it, without looking at the flies, here, sweetheart, sit. Focus. So I'm raising it to my nose, and I go straight to her mouth. Let's see. As we do this, we should see her looking at me more and more unless the flies keep on going around, because those are hard distractions. Yeah, I know. I'd like you to get that fly, too. All right, I'm going to cheat a little bit. Focus. And then I reload so the dog knows we're still playing the game. She tries to take it. That doesn't work. And I cheat a little bit occasionally by blowing. Focus. What we're doing is we're waiting for the dog to look at you. We're not calling the dog. We're waiting for the dog to do it on its own. Now, I'm blowing for her because of the distractions. But as you're doing this, you'll notice after like the third, fourth, fifth treat, focus. You did a good job right there. That was you. And I fake reload. I know they're all over the place, aren't they? I bought the machine and they haven't come out, so I haven't even had to plug in the machine. I should have brought it with me. Right, Ryah? Fake reload. 1 second, 1 second, focus. So you 1 second from your knee to your nose. Now, then I go straight from my nose to the dog's mouth to promote and elongate focus. And I say the word focus is the command word I'm using. You can use look, watch, eyes, whatever you want to say. And what you'll see is the dog will start looking at you more in your eyes faster and faster because that's what gets their attention. So I'm going to pantomime for the rest of it because we have distractions. It's a hot day. So what you do is, again, you put them on your knee. You see I have a little bit of a wet mark? That's very normal. So I hold it like this between the thumb and the forefinger, and I push it. So the dog will lick it a little bit, but they can't quite get to it. And you watch them like a hawk, because the 1 second you look over here, the dog looks up at you, and you don't give them the treat, it'll be a lot longer. Now, as you practice this, the dog pretty much is staring at you more and more, faster and faster. So first, it's for all 12 treats. 1 second, 1 second. You pop in the treat in the mouth and say focus. The next time you do it, you try to go 1 second, 2 seconds from your nose to the dog's mouth. Make sure that if you watch my hand, watch my palm. My hand did not switch over. A lot of people do it like this. They go here, and then they go like this, and the dog's nose is looking down at your knees or your crotch. The idea for this is the dog promote looking you in the face. So you're sit with the dog sitting in between your knees, and sometimes if I have a low dog, I'll spread my legs out like this, get my knees lower. I want it to be an intentional act when the dog looks up at me. When it does, I raise the treat to my nose. Let's see if she'll do it. Focus. Eventually, you want to get to the point where it's like this. One second. Focus, about 15 seconds. So this is helpful because you're promoting that eye contact. Like I said, I do this for a lot of dogs. You could do this with her, and it becomes a command where you say focus, the dog stops what they're doing and looks up at you, and they're not barking or looking at the other things. In his case, I would like you to do it for confidence building and to help him get over his problem of interacting with people as well as eye contact. So when you do this, dogs don't generalize well. So anytime you train a dog, you don't want to practice just right here, because you'll be able to get the dog to do the trick here. You go over there, you won't be able to do it. So each time you practice doing a different part of this in your house, but make sure there's no other distractions at first. Eventually we want to do this amongst distractions, but right now when they're learning, no distractions. So what I usually do is I try to go 1 second per time, but if I go like up here and I'm at 5 and I go 1, 2, 3 and the dog looks away, then I would back up and I would practice it 2 or 3 seconds. I want it consistently success. And once you can get up to the point where you can be anywhere in your house and for 15 seconds that dog will wait for you to put that treat in their mouth. And they're not coming up for it, they're waiting there passively for that treat for 15 seconds. Once you can do that anywhere in your house, the next stage is to go and do it out here. At that point, your backyard will be all fenced in, you can kind of enjoy it. But again, nobody mowing the lawn, no distractions. But now it's harder because we've added distractions. So we go back to 1 second, 1 second. But we can move faster. Maybe do 1 second for 3 treats, 1 second, 2 seconds for 3 treats, 1 second, 3 seconds for 3 treats. Usually within 7 days in the house, you want to get to the point, you want to get to the point where the dog will stare at you for 15 seconds within 7 days inside. Make sure you practice this one every day. Dogs get very bored with this one very quickly, so you really want to go through it a lot rather than elongating it for 2 or 3 weeks. They'll just start losing interest in the game. When you come outside, you want to do you want to accomplish 15 seconds within about 2 days outside. So you're practicing multiple times a day. And again, no distractions and only one dog at a time. The last step is if you are walking your dog is I usually trigger this now verbally. When I'm walking and there's nobody around, and let's say the dog is like Ryah is right here. Come here, sweetheart. Turn you around. So I say focus. She looks up at me. I go boom, boom as I'm walking and say focus. So now I'm actually triggering it with the verbal command. And I go back to 1-1 because when we're walking, it's more difficult. But eventually I get to say focus, and she looks up, and we're walking for 15 seconds as that treat's coming down. She's like running over stuff because she's not paying attention where she's going. She's looking at the treat. So this way, if you see she's reactive to other dogs, so you're on a walk and you see a dog comes around the corner, you say focus, she looks up at you, and you kind of turn around and walk the other direction. You redirect her and got her out of trouble before she even had a chance to bark. So it's a powerful way to get your dog's attention. Now for Roman, I think that he's not going to want to do this a lot until he knows how to do it with you guys first. So what I would do is first master it with you guys. And I would talk to one of your neighbors and maybe have your neighbors come over to enjoy your new fenced-in backyard and say, look, I can't see your house from here. But the idea is you have your neighbor come over and you would have your neighbor maybe sitting right here and you're here. And I would probably have the other, well, you can have the other dogs out, but I probably wouldn't have them around. I'd have them out at first, but I'd have them put away. And the neighbor that comes by should completely ignore Roman. No trying to pet, no trying to look. Even if Roman comes in and sniff, they should just hold still when he sniffs and let him sniff as much as he wants and walks away. And then basically you call Roman over, you do the exercise like 3 or 4 times, then you hand your guest, and then they ask Roman and they do the same thing. He probably won't want to sit next to people he doesn't know. If he wants to stand, that's fine. But the idea is you just did a couple warm-ups. He knows how to do this exercise. Now you give the guest, and now the guest and the dog is practicing listening to the guest, looking at the guest in the eye, and being rewarded for looking at the guest in the eye, and having a positive interaction with the guest. So this is a great thing that you can do for to help fearful dogs. Now, one other thing, does Roman know how to catch?
Sometimes.
Roman. Well, that didn't work. Let me try with a heavier treat. Now, the way I teach a dog to catch is I'd have somebody sitting on the floor. So, no, you don't have to now, but just demonstrate once. But I'd have somebody sitting on the floor. So if I throw the treat and the dog doesn't get it, that person picks it up. Otherwise, I'm just going to lick it off the ground. If I only get it out of the air, now I'm motivated to snatch. Now, when a lot of us throw it, we go like this. 1, 2, and the dog's like, where is it? And it hits on the top of the head. So Roman, well, he's going to get that one off the floor. Normally, the person would hand that one back to me. After a while, he starts taking them. Well, what does the catch allow us to do? It allows your guest to interact with Roman at whatever distance Roman feels comfortable if the guest can throw that very well. I wouldn't do this with crack because you saw the wind blew that away. I would use the other ones. And you can tame them in smaller pieces. But basically now, Roman gets to play with the guest, and it's an interactive game. Roman gets to play as much, and he gets a reward for interacting with the guest, but he keeps as much distance as he needs to feel confident in the scenario. So I would do this, the focus exercise first and get him comfortable with that. Now, last little bit, I'm going to go over, I probably should have done this in the inverted order. I didn't think I was going to use other tips. What I like to do is set dogs up for success. So before a guest comes over, he needs a doggy stairmaster or whatever it is. And you can play around with those until you find the right amount. Before we're going to do this exercise with guests, Roman needs like 12 up downs of the stairs or whatever it is. So we give him 10 minutes to recover. Then we have the guests meet us outside the same way that we met you. So what we were doing is we were sitting in the shade of the tree with our backs to the house. They let him out. And he came up to us from behind, front facing his confrontation, coming up from behind. He felt better, much better. He didn't bark at us once. He came up and sniffed. If the people have dogs, they should try to take their pants off and rub it all over their dog so they just smell like dogs. My pants do. And so he was more interested in smelling me than Kayla. He doesn't have to lay on his belly like I did out there. You could if they're willing to do that. But the idea is to load him up with a lot of other smells. So Roman comes up and he's smelling them, and the person's not talking to them, looking at them, or moving around or reaching for them. That makes Roman feel more comfortable. If you see he's lying down right here, you can pan if you can't see him. This is an indicator I feel comfortable. If he didn't feel comfortable, he would not lie down this close to me. He would lay down over there or on the couch or behind this barricade. So the fact that he's laying down tells me he feels more comfortable. And I can go over there and give him a treat, and he didn't get up and move away, which he normally would have skedaddled, I'm guessing. All right, let's come back to me. So basically what I'd like you to do when you have guests come over, exercise to set them up first, have the other dogs away, meet them outside, preferably in the evening or the afternoon, maybe not tomorrow, it's supposed to be the hottest day of the year, and then go for a little bit of a mini walk. And on the walk, we'd like to all be walking in a line if possible. So maybe you're walking on the grass, your dog's in the middle, and the other guest on the other side, or you could have the dog on the other side, whatever it is, but we want the dog to have a little bit of an experience of interacting with that person without having the pressure of them trying to talk, look at, or pet. Maybe go to the next driveway, turn around and walk back, come in the house, do a little, give them a chance to kind of settle down, do a couple focus exercises with them, then have your guests practice the focus exercise, and tell the guest 4 seconds, or maybe when the guest first gets, it's 1 second, 1 second, and the second time the guest comes by, it's 1 second, 5 seconds. So we want to get to the point where he's looking at your guest in the eyes for 15 seconds and then something amazing happens. But he triggers it all his own. We don't say focus, we wait for him to focus, and then we reward him for doing so. After that, maybe let him go outside and catch his breath again, then bring him outside, and then maybe give some heavier treats, or have your guest come inside and play that catch game where he gets to catch. But I would have the catch game done with you guys. So one of you is sitting on the floor next to him, the other 2 dogs are away, and I do it like a light underhand. I don't 1, 2, 3, I just go. And you try to throw it so good, so all the woman has to do is open his mouth and it falls in his mouth. When it does, come up with a word that means catch, reception, whatever the word is you want to say, out. If you want a baseball, I can't think of a basketball analogy. I don't play basketball. I can tell you why. It's a funny story. But anyways, so the idea is now he has these positive interactions. It might be 2 or 3 times that the guest comes over before he's this relaxed. Now, I'm a dog psychologist, so I know what to do and what not to do. So when the guests are over, anytime Roman interacts with them, they should try to freeze, stop talking, or talk in a very low, calm, like you're reading to a child of a tone and meter to your voice. Very calm and relaxed. He's got a lot of cortisol in his blood. We need to build a positive experience on top of another positive experience on top of another positive experience. And if you can get to the point where you're walking him, I have him on a harness now, and if you feel comfortable, and I would walk him in your backyard first. So that if he does slide out, he's not going away. And if you can, try to walk around the block with your neighbor. before you do these things. So now he gets to practice. Maybe you do the walk once or twice before the neighbor even comes in. So you get to meet him in this low level of intensity and build up his confidence. And once you've done that enough, then you can start going a little bit higher, and holding the treat longer and longer. But this is a great way to develop a little self-esteem and confidence. Now, one last little tip, and this is a lot longer video than I planned. Insecure dogs, reactive dogs are very insecure. Insecurity comes from a lack of confidence. Teaching your dog new tricks and skills can help boost their self-esteem and confidence. So what I'd like you to do is go to YouTube and look for easy dog tricks. There's books you can buy, but I mean, just go to YouTube and start. I mean, I have one where I just like lure the dog this way, and when it comes here, I have another treat in this arm, I pull my hammer, and I have the dog come around, and I give it the treat, and I say patrol. Patrol means just do a circle around me. Another one we can do, let's see if I can do it with you. Come here. Middle. And a lot of times you have the dog sit right there. You call it middle, and the dog comes and just sits underneath in your crotch. So there's going to be a lot of little things. Like another one we do is we call it hurricane. Up. Do you prefer going this way? Up. So I was almost there. So, and when you're doing this, always keep the treat within an inch of the dog's nose. There you go. So she doesn't get it until she comes all the way around. Almost there. Hurricane. So she's got to do a circle. Is that hard? No, it's really easy. But the more, if you say hurricane does a circle and you give a reward, that's something for him to hang his hat on and feel good about himself. So when you do these, try to pick one trick, and I would probably do it with all 3 dogs. Pick one trick, teach each dog separately. Then all week long, you want to go outside? Hurricane. You want to eat your food? Hurricane. You want to put a leash on? Hurricane. After a while, you say, huh, and he's just doing a hurricane. And so, again, if you, and I would have you take turns. So 1 week, handler A teaches, the next week, handler B teaches. So you come up with that, and make sure you use funny command words like hurricane or patrol or whatever it is. Splits, maybe for the middle one I showed you. So you come up with these funny command words that, and people come over and when you're, if he's nervous, you have him do all the tricks for the people. People are like laughing when they hear these fun command words. He's like, I'm making everybody happy. It's like the little kids. They come on, we're gonna do a show for you. It's usually the worst show you have ever seen, but you love the kids, and so it's endearing to you. So he's not gonna do the worst show ever, but now he's gonna do these things and entertain people. That boosts his self-esteem. He feels better about himself. He has a positive experience with people. And after enough interactions, eventually that just becomes, he forgets about being fearful, and except for extreme situations. Well, this is Ryah. And this is Big Roman Dog. I'm David. And these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a fearful dog that has a problem with eye contact or doesn't like to meet new people.